Good morning, everyone. I think it's, yeah, so it's shortly at 9. Morning. Hopefully everyone who wants to join us is already done, and we are here. Vaishi, how many of us are here? Should we still wait, or we can start?
We have approximately 200 people right now.
Okay. So maybe we should wait just 1 or 2 minutes. Okay, so I think we shouldn't wait more, right? And we can start. So good morning, ladies and gents. Welcome to the Turkey-Hungary Innovation and Digitalization Partnership in EU Funds online event. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Ági Füleki, Head of Marketing at the Hungarian Development Promotion Office, so-called MFY. Today, I have the pleasure of moderating this truly unique event designed especially for Hungarian and Turkish institutions interested in exploring joint participation in the Horizon Europe program, the Digital Europe program, and other EU funding opportunities. Whether you represent a company, any kind of university or chamber or an NGO, we hope you'll find this session inspiring and useful, and that will encourage you to take the first step toward shared innovation project and strategic partnership. Before we dive into today's content, let me share a few practical notes, some housekeeping rules for the event. First of all, please note that this session will be recorded. Both the recording and the presentation slides will be shared with you a few days after the event, so there is no worry if you miss any part of it. As we have a quite large, hopefully, a quite large group with us today, I kindly ask everyone to keep their mics muted throughout the session. This will help us avoid background noise and ensure a smooth experience for all participants. If you have a question, please type them in the chat or the Q&A window. We'll be monitoring them throughout the whole session, and we'll address some of them, the presenters, at the end of each section, while all that are not covered live will be answered in written in the follow-up letter that you will receive later on. Thanks in advance for your cooperation. And now, let's continue with our opening remarks from our distinguished speakers representing both Hungary and Turkey. I'm delighted to invite first Dr. Bernadette Petri, Ministerial Commissioner responsible for directly managed EU funds and Managing Director of the Hungarian Development Promotion Office.
Very much, everyone. Actually, it is a great honor to be here. So, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests and dear colleagues, it is a pleasure to welcome you all to this joint Hungarian-Turkish event that is dedicated to the directly managed EU funds. Meaning that we are not going to just talk about the directly managed EU funds, but about partnership, innovation, and growth. Today, we gather as two nations that, while rooted in different regions, share a very long history of fruitful cooperation, mutual respect, and deep understanding on how cooperation can multiply result. And I truly believe that Actually, the directly managed EU programs, in the core of which the partnership and the cooperation stands, is really and truly based on this deep understanding. This is also why I have great expectations how we could collaborate together. So our goal will also be to bring together experts, institutions, and innovators in order to learn from each other and creating new bridges between the Hungarian and Turkish stakeholders. As I said, direct funding is about more than grants and calls, but it is rather about trust, collaboration, and the ability as well to connect visions by implementation. And I really believe that by joining forces, we can ensure that both countries uh, will not only participate in but actively shaped the European and international programs defining our future of the continent. Now, I would like to move to my first slide in order to dig into the realities and facts. And you can see why it is really crucial to deal with the directly managed programs for both countries. And seeing the portion of the new priorities, the directly managed programs in the current MFF, and seeing the intention of the European Commission to grow this amount of money and making it more than half of the next MFF, it is really important to see, important for the growth of both countries to see how this can contribute to the competitiveness of SMEs, but also to the growth of different other institutions. As you can see in the structure of the current MFF, it is for the moment 1/3 of the entire EU budget. And we can see the MFF budget proposal of the European Commission, meaning that apparently this amount will grow and it will be also slightly restructured, not just slightly, but maybe in depth. This is also why we believe that for Turkey to decide how to restructure the participation in the different programs, meaning in particular the European Competitiveness Fund, it is extremely important to see how these programs are running, and we are trying to give you our experience of these 3 years of being active in this field and learning a lot about not just the Hungarian ecosystem, but the entire European ecosystem. Next slide, please. Thank you. The reason why there is MFY advisory and why the Hungarian government decided to create a state-owned company to deal with this like an agency is that actually our region, the CEE region, is not just slightly, but maybe in depth of the amount of grant per capita. You can also see here the comparison in order to have an overview what kind of lagging behind fighting with. This question is not just geographical divide within the European Union, and mainly it is not a geographical divide, although we can see gaps from the northwest perspective, from the north-south perspective, from the east-west perspective, but also from the perspective of new and old EU members. But what we are experiencing is that it is also regional. And knowing and using the NUTS2 statistical regions set, we have just digged into the information of the Financial Transparency Register of the EU and looked a bit after what is causing these discrepancies. And the reason why some regions are lagging behind is that the top 20 NUTS2 regions received more than half of the Horizon Europe funds in the last 3 years, while the remaining 230 statistical regions received the remaining less than a half. And we are working and fighting to change this tendency because we truly believe that in order to have a smooth single market, it is very much needed to bring a bit more equality in this system and also a fair share of the EU funds. And in this process, we see that it is really key to look not just within the borders of the European Union, but also outside of the borders, and finding their alliances and finding their partnerships. Because the reason of this data, this fact that we are lagging behind, is also that partnerships are often missing, and this missing partnership is somehow diminishing our chances to create successful partnerships and projects for EU directly managed fund applications. Next slide, please. And meanwhile, you can also hear the data. And I would like to mainly conclude on what we are doing, and what is the mandate, the mission of the Hungarian Development Promotion Office, so the MFOI. You can see on the left side. As I said, we are acting as an agency. That also means that this action is not just limited to within the borders of Hungary, but as I said, our aim is to build an ecosystem. Plus, we have also have thresholds, aims for different EU funds that we have to reach until the end of the current MFF. And when doing this and when performing this task, we see that first of all, it is really crucial to help potential applicants to teach the EU policy, how and what they should develop in order to get financed by the directly managed programs. We are trying to embrace ideas and helping the project development from a very, very early stage, and trying to also often compare the different program opportunities, because what our experience is in this field is that it is really a heavy exercise to understand the connection and the differences between the different EU programs. This is also why we, from one side, are supporting that this fragmentation in the new MFF would be somehow diminished and programs would be unified. But at the same time, we see that apparently there is no guarantee that simplification will also come in, and that would be also crucial for the process. We are building, as I said, relationships and cooperations, so project collaborations, and whilst we are trying to build up the ecosystem, we are also building international bilateral relations. What is even more crucial, I think, in this situation, that when building up the projects, since we are covering the entire process from the idea or from the policy through the idea until the presentation of the application to the EU system, we are also trying to speak up in the EU. That is crucial. And this opportunity we are offering to you, that when arguing that we need fair rules and fair funding for the countries and for the different regions as well, we are also performing quite a kind of policy advocacy and trying to go together with our partners in order to achieve policies that fit a bit better to the needs of Hungary, the CE region, and I think often the interests are joint and common with Turkey as well. So we are happy to go together to that sense as well. And in this Turkish-Hungarian cooperation, we see that there is a best practice exchange opportunity that is crucial for the successful application. There is opportunity for matchmaking and building up consortia, more cooperation on the applications, finding the appropriate calls, and as I said, joint representation of our interest. And I think that my next slide is just on our coordonate, so just seeing how and where you can reach us. We are quite active on the social media as well. We usually have newsletters sharing information. So after this training, you will definitely hear from us, and we are happy to share with you the information we are gathering in Brussels. So for today, I wish you a fruitful discussion, also new partnerships, but most importantly, lasting collaboration that can continue long after today's event concludes. Thank you very much for your attention. Teşekkür ederim. Köszönöm szépen.
Thank you very much, Commissioner, for your kind opening words. And now we are honored to welcome Mr. Bülent Özcan, Director General for Financial Cooperation and Project Implementation at the Republic of Turkey, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Directorate of EU Affairs.
Good morning, everyone. First of all, it's a great pleasure and an honor to see all of you, even in online, with a platform that we come together, discuss innovation and technology. First of all, dear friends from Hungarian Development Promotion Office, our colleagues in the Ministry of Industry and Technology in Turkey, and the representatives of public bodies, private sector, universities from Turkey and Hungary. It is a very important opportunity, great pleasure for us to welcome you all to this event dedicated to innovation and technology and digital transformation between Turkey and Hungary. Two countries share a common vision to build a smarter, greener, and more competitive economies. It's very clear. So today we have an excellent opportunity to connect our businesses, universities, public institutions, NGOs to come together to understand about especially funding opportunities and cooperation opportunities within the EU funding, let me say. I could say that Turkey and Hungary are currently enjoying one of the strongest periods of bilateral relations. Friendly ties, historical and cultural connections, frequent high-level visits between different segments of the society, I could say, is a great opportunity for us. Two countries already established a high-level strategic cooperation council. Two countries evaluated this cooperation to an enhanced strategic partnership at the beginning of 2020s. And this year is a very special year because this year is announced between the two countries as Science and Innovation Year, which is also coordinated in Turkey by Minister of Industry and Technology. So we would like to take this opportunity, inviting the representatives of both sides and come together and discuss what kind of opportunities we could do under the EU funds. But of course, I mean, this idea stemmed from through a study visit that we already held to Budapest at the beginning of this year. And we were very happy to come together with our colleagues in the Hungarian Cooperation Development Promotion Office, in which we found this idea very interesting and a good start to foster the cooperation between the two countries. So today, now, this is our first event, and we come together with nearly more than 300 people represented from both Hungary and Turkey, but not only two countries, but also represented from other EU countries. So this is from our side a very good opportunity. We could say that, two countries has the strongest ties nowadays, recently we could say, and it is also reflecting to our cooperation in the current EU programs. Under the Horizon program, we have an opportunity to cooperate together, work together over 3,300 projects under the Erasmus program. In Horizon program, we have nearly 190 projects already collaborated under the Horizon funds. And now we have a stronger relation under the Digital Europe and, of course, European Enterprise Network, we could say. But the numbers say we could do more, we could do better, especially if we know each other well, if we know the opportunities well, if we have the relevant information, and if we have the relevant context. So this is the main objective of this program today, that we would like to invite you, different segments of the society from the Turkey and Hungary. We would like to inform you about the funding opportunities, what we have currently, and thanks to, of course, our colleagues from Hungary, Bernadette, she already provides a very important framework about what will be next for the EU funding for the next financial framework. And you will understand how to cooperate. And this platform is a good opportunity that you know each other. But as I said, this is a first event. We would like to make this a sustainable and more dedicated events on the base of your needs and on the base of the opportunities. We have a plan not only make the online events, we have a plan of a second event in Brussels. Again, two countries come together and make more stronger voice to their counterparts in the Brussels, I could say. So I would like to thank all my colleagues. It's a great effort because to arrange that kind of a meeting. I would like to thank our colleagues in the Hungarian Development Promotion Office. I would like to thank my colleagues in the Ministry of Industry and Technology. So I hope it is a useful event and useful information, all of you, to foster your cooperation. So let's come together and make Europe more digital and green and stronger between our cooperation, let me say. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Özcan, for your valuable remarks and for highlighting the importance of Hungarian and Turkish cooperation within the EU framework. Now I'm pleased to invite Mr. Ahmet Halit Hatip, Director General for EU and Foreign Affairs at the Republic of Turkey, Ministry of Industry and Technology, to share his opening message.
Thank you very much. Distinguished participants, esteemed representatives of Hungarian and Turkish institutions, ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure to greet you on behalf of the Ministry of Industry and Technology of Turkey. I'm delighted to address this important session dedicated to strengthen cooperation between Turkey and Hungary in innovation and digitalization. As you know, 2025 embarks as the Turkey-Hungary Years of Science and Technology, Science and Innovation. Within this framework, 20 partners from each country have already joined forces, launching nearly 20 joint initiatives, from research projects and conferences, scholarships, and bilateral agreements. This event that we are organizing today carries a special meaning. It reflects not only our shared vision, but our firm commitment to building lasting partnerships in science, technology, and digital transformation. Since joining the Horizon Europe in 2021, Turkey has participated over 630 projects, securing more than 330 million euros funding. These strong performances demonstrates our growing visibility across Europe and provides a foundation for success under the Digital of Europe program. Turkey's participation in the Digital Europe program since 2023 was not just a technical step, but a strategic one, a declaration that Turkey is ready to contribute to Europe's digital future, from AI and the high-performance computing to data and advanced skills and digital public services. A key outcome of this participation is the integration of 5 Turkish digital innovation hubs into European network. These hubs now support businesses and public institutions in fields ranging from agriculture and textiles to advanced manufacturing. We expect this network to expand further by 2027, deepening our collaboration with Europe's digital ecosystem. Our study visit to Hungary earlier this year also played a pivotal role. Together with Turkish EDIS and the Directorate for EU Affairs, we met leading Hungarian organizations such as HPC EDI Hungary, AI EDI, and Digital Tech EDI. These exchanges built valuable trust and identified concrete opportunities for joint actions. Today's program is another milestone in our growing partnership. Under Horizon Europe, we already share 189 joint projects, and under Digital Europe, 4 ongoing collaborations, including the Digital Wing for Q, EuroCC2, Surpass2, and DEP Forum. The United Circles project, featured in today's agenda, is a remarkable example of how Turkish and Hungarian partners can co-create and co-own success stories that generate shared value across borders. This event also reflects a key strength of EU programs: diversity and cooperation among the institutions, SMEs, researchers, and policymakers. Such collaboration is no longer optional, it is essential in today's digital world. Ladies and gentlemen, our gathering today reflects both the progress we have achieved and the confidence we share in the future. We believe that the deepening partnership between Turkey and Hungary will continue to strengthen our innovation ecosystems and contribute to Europe's broader transformation goals. I extend my sincere thanks to all partners and colleagues who made this event possible. Wishing you a productive and inspiring session. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hatip, for your encouraging words and emphasizing the shared commitment to innovation and digital transformation. Thank you once again to all our distinguished speakers for their opening remarks. And now we will move on and take a deeper look into the world of EU funds. So please welcome Mr. János Daszkál, Senior Project Manager and National Contact Point of Hungary of the Digital Euro Program at the Hungarian Development Promotion Office, who will give us an introduction to directly managed EU funds.
Thank you very much and good morning to everyone. So as Agi mentioned, my name is János Daszkál, and I'm a senior project manager here at MFOI, but as well the national contact point, the so-called NCP for the Digital Euro Program. So I will tell you about, in my first presentation, about the digital fund, the so-called the digital, not the direct fund, and its place within the total EU funding landscape. And when we talk about the EU direct fund, we are referring to the programs which are managed centrally by the European Union, not by national authorities. And it means quite huge differences compared to the operative programs, which are, let's say, the more or better known in Hungary, for example, but in other countries as well. So understanding the difference between these two worlds is a key, because applying for direct EU funding means joining a much larger European community and turning local ideas into projects with EU-wide relevance and visibility. I try to share my screen now. And show you my presentation. Yeah. Can you see it now?
No, I think, Mr. Daszkál, we can.
Just a second.
Yes.
Can you see it now?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry for the mistake. When we are talking about direct EU funds and its importance, we are normally talking about the budget. Let's see how the EU funding is structured. Here we can see how the EU budget is structured and why direct funds are now more important than ever. This is the current budgetary cycle of the EU. So it shows that it's about 2 trillion, so 2,000 billion euros, combining the long-term framework and the recovery plan. Traditionally, most funding went to the cohesion policy and the agriculture. These were by far the biggest budget lines in the EU budget. But this has changed in this budgetary cycle quite radically. And for the first time ever, the amount allocated to directly managed programs is on par with these traditional funds. So more than 377 billion euros have been allocated or earmarked for the so-called new priorities. And this is the new priorities like research, innovation, digitalization, space, green transition, and resilience, and so on. These are the so-called directly managed EU funds. So it clearly means that understanding and accessing these programs is no longer optional. So this is a must, strategically important, because learning how to access direct funds is becoming a strategic necessity. So those who invest in understanding and participating in these programs in this world are the ones who will be best positioned to secure EU funding in the future. So the importance is quite huge. But this direct EU funding landscape is quite complex. So we have more than 40 direct funds. And so it's not easy to, let's say, to understand this world. With all the programs have their own priorities, own rules, differences. So even for those who are working with them, it's not an easy thing to keep track. So what makes it even trickier is that many EU priorities, and let's say the most important ones like digitalization, health, agri-food, for example, are cross-cutting. It means that not only one program dealing with these initiatives, but several programs. For example, digitalization appears by far not only in the Digital Europe program. So you may think if a program is called Digital Europe, then everything which is digitalization is within this program, but it's not. So not only Digital Europe program, but for example, Horizon Europe, the European Innovation Council, the Defense Fund, and EIT initiatives, for example. So the key message is don't box yourself into a single program. If you have a project idea, then it should be explored how it connects, this idea, how it connects to the multiple EU priorities. And we have to look for synergies. So because who see the bigger picture are often the ones who turn ideas into truly successful EU projects. As I mentioned, the two worlds, the direct funds and the operative programs, are quite different. But we have to understand these differences and have to, let's say, live in both worlds. So, and what is more important, that in successful countries, they are not competitors, but complement each other. And it's very, very important. So as I mentioned, direct funds are managed by the European Commission and its agencies, and they are open to international competition and focused on EU-wide strategies and innovation. They usually require co-financing, sometimes at around 50%, so it's not so low, and support projects with European impact, and not local operations and local infrastructure, because it's sometimes a very important thing that applicants mix these two things up. So infrastructure, local infrastructure is much more the operative programs world. Because as I say, operative programs are managed nationally with local competition and priorities, and they typically fund infrastructure, equipment, or local development. So in successful countries, they are not competitors, but complementary. So they, let's say, work hand in hand, these two worlds. The key feature of the EU funding, the direct funding, is the European dimension. And what does it mean? I will explain it in a couple of words. First of all, there has to be a project idea because as I mentioned, these directly managed funds should somehow support a kind of a strategic objectives of the EU. So there should be a project idea behind an application which supports this strategy of EU, strengthen the EU. So it very often happens that if only there is a need for money and not a real project idea, then we have to really hard work on it to develop a project idea, because the need for money is not yet a project idea. what I mentioned, that EU dimension is very, very important. And the EU dimension means that everything happens on European level. So it means EU level competition. So anyone from any eligible country can apply. The EU level evaluation, it means that there are no country quotas, for example. The best application wins regardless of countries. And it means a really strong and fierce competition. If you apply with innovation, then the innovation also should be EU level innovation. So it's not enough if you import advanced technology from another country. And the dissemination, which is very important to EU, should be also on EU level. And this is why an international consortium is very often a prerequisite or a must to submit a proposal. But if it's so different, it seems to be so, let's say, so difficult to apply, is it worth applying at all? Is it a question? And how should we apply to do it? So because we are absolutely convinced that this is the only way. As I mentioned, more and more money in the EU budget is in the direct EU funds world. So this is why it's a must to apply for these projects and for these funds. So the question is not whether is it worth applying, but how to do it. So I will show you a couple of slides detailing a kind of tips from our experience, what to do to be successful and what to avoid. So the so-called the do's and don'ts. This is a summary of this. And we will, let's say, show some of them in a bit more detail. The first one is the timing is very important. So once a call is open, there are, let's say, 3 to 5 months to submit your application, and it's often not enough. So this is why you have to think very forward, to have to know about the EU strategies, the programs themselves, what they are about, the work programs of the fund, and then the calls come. So when the calls come, you should be prepared by that time, for example, with the work programs. It is very important to do it by step, because it can be done in small scale. So start small, definitely start small, and then learn and prove your abilities. And then do it step by step. It's very important. It is also important to define the roles and tasks, because sometimes there are quite a large number of participators in the project within a consortium, for example, and there are quite strict deadlines. So to avoid conflict, you have to clearly define roles and tasks. Number 4, content should be in line with the evaluation criteria. I will show a slide about it. These are slightly different fund by fund, but let's say the sense behind is quite, let's say, simple and quite the same. There are other aspects regarding the content, not just the evaluation criteria, but other important aspects, for example, budget, fact-based, innovation, and intellectual property. These are, based on our experience, quite important. Building partnerships is a must. And I will show you a slide about this, because it's an ongoing task, not just a task for an application and to do it, let's say, for 3 weeks or for 2 months. It's an ongoing task. Regarding systems and platforms, it is worth mentioning the EU funding and tenders portal. It is key importance. So this is the, let's say, the base of all the systems. There are some administration required, and it has to be kept and has to be done and has to be familiar with, because there are steps that should be taken right away. And of course, don't give up, because there is a fierce competition, so not all the applications win, of course. So I will show some of these aspects in a bit more detail, not all of them, but some. The first goal is the, let's say, do it step by step. And this is about the so-called cascade funding, or it's sometimes named as FSTP, the financial support to third parties. And it is the same. it is 2 applications in one, especially for SMEs and startups. It's very good. Here's how it works. For example, imagine a 10 million euro project, and about 20% goes to the, let's say, the core partners of the consortium to manage the project, and up to 80% is distributed to external organizations as financial support to third parties in small amounts. It means that it is very good for small SMEs and startups. You can get 2 in 1, not just funding, but expert support at the same time, which is also can be very good and very important for small companies. Less administration. So the process focuses much more on implementation and result and much less on administration. And it's between 10 to 200,000 euros, which is enough for a small development based on also our experience. And of course, as I mentioned, it is linked with other forms of support, for example, tech and knowledge transfer, marketing, vouchers, testing opportunities, mentors, and so on and so on and so on. These kind of things that really worth money and very important especially for small companies. As I mentioned, to build the application on the evaluation criteria. These criteria appeal in all programs, but their exact wording and emphasis can differ. For example, in the Digital Europe, this is relevance, impact, and implementation. It means that relevance means how to fit your project to the called goals and EU priorities, for example, the digital decade or digital sovereignty. So to show clearly EU how the added value will be generated. The impact focuses on let's say, the so-called tangible results, benefits for competitiveness, innovation or society, and strong dissemination, and with KPIs, of course, numbers. And the implementation is about feasibility, a plan, capable partners, a good consortium, good risk management, and so on and so on and so on. So the success depends not only on the idea, but on how precisely it meets these 3 criteria. So this is why the application must be built based on these evaluation criteria. That's a very important message. But apart from the evaluation factors, the evaluation criteria, there are other facts which are very, very important. And we collected for you some. The first one is factuality. Sometimes an innovator is in love with his or her innovation, but of course, EU is not naturally in love with this innovation. So this is why it has to be fact-based presented, that why is it good? The budget planning, it should be transparent. It should be, for example, a proposal can look very great on paper or in PowerPoint, but it can fall apart when it's the budget-wise, it's weak or unrealistic, totally unrealistic. So it has to be kept clear, justified, and consistent with the work plan. It is very important. This is one of the first things that's checked always in an application, the budget planning. As I mentioned, the innovation is also very important, and you have to prove that your innovation is really an innovation. So it should be an evidence behind it. It's an innovative compared to what, based on what facts and criteria and attributes. So this also has to be fact-based, that this is really innovation. Sometimes we have projects that someone tries to say that this is really innovative because they are the first company who will sell it in Hungary. But if we find, for example, articles from newspapers, then in other countries 2 years ago, there are articles about this thing, then it, of course, on EU level, it's not innovative. The fourth one is the intellectual property. And it is also very important because we are talking about the consortia applications. And it is always a question. So if there is an intellectual property of someone which is brought into the consortia, what will happen to it? And if there is an intellectual property what is made by the consortium, what will happen with this afterwards? So it should be handled, and it's a very important part of the application. Building partnership is also very important. As I said, it's an ongoing activity. And I can say only, let's say, buzzwords about it, but we have to do it all the time, regardless of an application. If you have a plan to become international, then you have to build your partnerships immediately. We saw it from the chat that the participators already started the matchmaking and everyone introduced himself and so on and so on. And it's very, very good. That's exactly the way how we should do it. What we can, as an addendum, offer to this, that we, for example, in Digital Europe program, created a B2Match platform. B2Match is a very good platform used, let's say, Europe-wide to matchmaking purposes. And in the international project regarding DEP, the so-called DEP for All, we created a community in the B2Match platform. So I would encourage everyone to go b2match.com and find the DEP community there and register, because you can find there more than 300 participants already registered. So it is a very good tool for online matchmaking. Of course, in 2025, we cannot forget about systems. And regarding systems, this is the EU funding and tenders portal regarding the directly managed EU funds world. This is the key. So this is the platform you will return to again and again. This is the place where all the applications can be found. Everything, all the documents can be downloaded from. You can register here and make all the administrative work here. You can submit your application here, and so on and so on. So everything is done on the EU funding and tenders program platform. If you really seriously want to do something in this direct fund world, you cannot avoid this platform. You have to discover it. There is a public section, there is a private section. If you are logged in, sign in, and then log in, you can see your own projects and manage your calls and manage your submissions, and so on and so on and so on. You can find partners here. You can search for calls for your project ideas, and so on and so on. So please discover this platform. It's a must. There are administrative things, just very shortly. Of course, as I mentioned, there's a public space on the EU funding and tenders, but if you do something, then you have to identify yourself. To be able to identify yourself, you have to apply for the so-called the PIC number. There is a process behind it. I put a link in the presentation how to do it. This long number in purple, this is the, let's say, the unique 9-digit identifier. For example, this is ours. This is MFOE's PIC number. And you can define all the, let's say, contact persons from your organization to manage your projects and calls. And of course, it is very important to prepare and submit properly your application. There are tools behind it. There are, let's say, key important steps, how to do it, to fill out, for example, the Part A documents with the administrative and financial data, and then upload the Part B. The Part B is, let's say, the professional, the technical contact. What is your project about is all about Part B. And of course, it is very, very important that there are must and necessary annexes, which can be different call by call and topic by topic. So you have to be very careful with this, because annexes should be uploaded as well. And it's very important that don't leave it to the last minute, because something always happens to the system, and the end deadline, the end date is strict. So if they say that, for example, in this wave, you have to submit your proposal in Digital Europe program until 3rd of March, 17 o'clock in Brussels time, then 17 o'clock Brussels time, the system closes. No matter what happens, no matter what excuses you have, the system closes and it's over. So don't leave it to the last minute. And the final message to this part, that it's a good message, that you are not alone in this world. There are NCPs, as I mentioned. I am one of them in Hungary. And there are lots of NCPs in lots of countries. And there are other players, consultancy companies, other agencies, governmental agencies, and so on and so on. So lots of other players who can help in all phases of the project. And we, as NCPs, can help you from the very, let's say, the first step of the project, very first project idea, to find the right call to this project idea, understand the rules, align the project with the EU priorities. We offer trainings, info days, personal guidance if it's needed. We can support you with partner search, proposal reviews, and practical advice if needed, and so on and so on. To wrap up, I hope that this presentation has helped you a bit to see how the EU's direct funding landscape works and how you can turn an idea to a successful project. And later in the session, we will dive a bit deeper into digitalization and digital program as well, Digital Europe program as well. And the Turkish colleagues will talk about the horizon. So this is from me at the moment. And thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, János. As he will come back a bit later, I will thank you very much later on. And it's very good to see, glad to see how active you are in the chat, and that networking has already started. So we encourage you to ask your questions to our speakers as well in the Q&A. Please do it. And we will have a Q&A section at the end of the presentation. So we will answer. Hopefully there will be a lot of questions, but we try to do our best to answer to all of them. And now our next presentation will highlight the current status and future perspectives of Turkey-Hungary cooperation in EU programs. I'm pleased to introduce Zelal Sen, Head of Union Programs Department at Directorate of EU Affairs.
I'm sorry, I'm having a technical problem. Sorry, I will start in a few minutes. Okay, can you see my presentation? I think yes. Good morning, everyone. I warmly welcome you on behalf of the Directorate for EU Affairs. I am Head of Department of Union Programs from Turkish Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Directorate for EU Affairs. Today's session aims to highlight how Turkey and Hungary cooperate within EU programs and how we can further develop this partnership. I hope this information session we share today will help all participants discover new project opportunities. Now let me start with some keywords. Collaboration and competition. We use these words very commonly. In fact, they say competition is key to the success. That's right, because competition is an important driver of innovation, perhaps the most important one. But when it comes to getting big things to be accomplished, the history shows that cooperation has afforded humanity great success. I'm rather emphasizing collaboration rather than cooperation because cooperation is about working for your own goals. But collaboration, we work together, produce together, and work together to achieve shared goals. And luckily, these programs provide these tools to collaborate. Having emphasizing these, I'd like to take your attention to the performance of two countries and state of their cooperation with some figures and numbers. Turkey has taken part in EU programs for more than 2 decades. This participation allows our universities, research centers, public bodies, and private bodies to collaborate with European partners on equal footing. During 21-27 period, Turkey participates in 7 programs, as you see on the screen. And today we will focus on Digital Europe and Horizon Europe, which provides collaboration opportunities in the field of innovation and digitalization. I will also touch upon Erasmus Plus and COSME programs, which also contribute to innovation and digital growth by supporting entrepreneurship skills development and SME development and SME cooperation between Turkey and Hungary. In my presentation, I will also give about the current situation about Turkey and Hungary in EU programs and how we can strengthen our collaboration. Since we are discussing cooperation in the fields of innovation and digitalization, it is useful to have a look at the Summary Innovation Index from the European Innovation Scoreboard 2025, which compares innovation performance across European countries involving Turkey. As the chart shows, both Turkey and Hungary are classified as emerging innovators. These are countries that are developing innovation capacities but still perform below the EU average. Hungary ranks 26 with an innovation performance of around 66 of the EU average, while Turkey ranks 29th, reaching about 57% of the EU average. This means that both countries are in a similar phase of strengthening their innovation, ecosystems, and digital transformation capacity. Enhancing bilateral cooperation through these programs can help both Turkey and Hungary accelerate their innovation performance. And complementary programs like Erasmus+, COSME can further support skills development, SME growth, and entrepreneurship, which are all key drivers of competitiveness and digital transformation. Now let me start with Horizon Europe program. I will not go into details, but this, as you know, is the key program for research and innovation in Europe. Both Turkey and Hungary actively participate in it, joining international consortia, supporting scientific excellence. Participation in this program helps our institutions exchange knowledge and address common challenges together. This chart shows the total EU funding contribution received by all participating countries under Horizon 2022. As you can see, this was the previous period. As you can see, the leading recipients were Germany, the United Kingdom, and France, each receiving several billion euros. Turkey received about around 280 million and ranked 24th, while Hungary received around 365 billion, ranking 21st. Both countries are active and visible in the European research and innovation landscape, even though their total returns are naturally smaller compared to large EU economies. Under Horizon Europe, this is the current period we are in, Turkey has received about 338 million and Hungary around 250 million so far. With the 2 years still to go on, Turkey is on track to surpass its Horizon 2020 performance, and Hungary is maintaining a stable level of participation. You can see Turkey's top recipients of EU funding regarding Horizon Europe, the Scientific Technological Research Council of Turkey, TÜBİTAK, Koç University, and the Middle East Technical University. They are the leading ones since the beginning of the framework programs in 2007. And in the private sector, you can see Ford Otosan as one of the leading companies in automotive sector, Arçelik, white goods and technology company, and SRDC software, a consultancy firm in research development and software, stand out. When we look at the picture from the Hungarian side, the leaders are 3 universities: Budapest University of Technology and Economics, Central European University, and AUVA's Laurent University. Successful private companies include Biotalentum, Leonardo, and Syrian Research Institute. Biotalentum is expert on biotechnology and stem cell research. Leonardo is working on the area of sustainable energy and environmental solutions, and Syrian Research Institute is working on health economics and clinical research. This shows the leading organizations. I'm sorry. Yes. This chart shows the leading organizations in Europe in terms of total EU funding. I'm sharing this so that we can make a comparison. Institutions like CNRS in France, which is the largest public research organization in France, and Fraunhofer in Germany is Europe's leading organization for applied research, each received more than 1.7 billion euros since 2007, reflecting their capacity and experience in EU research projects. When we compare this with Turkey and Hungary, whose top organizations receive funding in hundreds of millions rather than billions, we see a clear scale difference. For both countries, the focus should be on expanding international partnerships and building project management capacity to gradually close this gap with Europe's largest R&D players. Now let's look at the cooperation of Turkey and Hungary. They have already worked together in 192 joint projects with a total EU contribution of about 3.24 billion. This gives the overall budget of all the projects that these parties are involved. And 117 Hungarian and Turkish participants and organizations cooperated, receiving 125 million euro grants in total. You can see the distribution of EU grants received by two parties. You can see how active in Turkey and Hungary together in different sectors of the Horizon Europe as well. Most cooperation is in projects that deal with global challenges like energy, climate, mobility, health, food, digital, and industry. And these are the top institutions from Turkey and Hungary that have established partnerships. Leading public and private universities and private sector institutions are involved in the list, as you see. Spain, Italy, and Germany are the top three partners, followed by France and the UK. Hungary ranks around the middle of Turkey's collaboration network. And Germany, Spain, France, and Italy are Hungary's top partners. Turkey ranks 25th, which shows there is still room to strengthen and expand our cooperation in the upcoming Horizon Europe calls. Now, another program for cooperation opportunities is Digital Europe, established in 2021, and it aims to support digital transformation of Europe's society and economy with a quite ambitious budget. Turkey joined the program later than Hungary in 2023. Despite being a new participant, Turkey's strong performance in the Digital Europe program reflects its growing capacity in digital transformation. You can see projects implemented by each country and EU grants received, where Hungary performs better than Turkey. Despite being a new participant, Turkey's strong performance in the Digital Europe program reflects its growing capacity in digital transformation. Hungary ranks 20th, while Turkey ranks 31st among participating countries. Hungary performs better mainly due to stronger participation in digital infrastructure, cybersecurity, and digital skills projects. Both countries could increase their impact by collaborating in next grand calls of the program. As you see, Turkey collaborates most actively with Germany, Spain, Belgium, France, Italy, which are main players, and Hungary ranks 25th among Turkey's partners, indicating that there is still some room for cooperation, but the level of joint participation in EU projects remain relatively low. Hungary works most closely with Germany, Spain, Italy, Netherlands, and Greece. Turkey ranks 27th among Hungary's partners, showing that cooperation in digital transformation and innovation projects is still at an early stage. This chart shows the main Turkish organizations taking part in the Digital Europe program. Middle East Technical University, TÜBİTAK, Sabancı University are the leading ones. And there are also some research centers and other universities as best performers. And we can also see some private sector companies such Arçelik and Ekodenge showing the role of Turkish industry and interest in this program. The rest are regional development agencies, chambers of industry, and other universities, which clearly illustrate that Turkey's digital transformation encompasses and connects both the scientific and business sectors. Hungary's main participants in the program, as you see, Budapest University of Technology and Economics, and the Governmental Agency for IT Development, lead in project participation and funding. Other strong contributors include, as you see, Eötvös Loránd University by Zoltán Applied Research Institute and several ICT and research centers, such as Punren Institutes. The mix of universities, government bodies, and private tech companies show Hungary's strong national capacity in digital innovation and applied research. Currently, two countries are strengthening their partnership through joint Digital Europe projects. As you see on the screen, there are 4 projects we are currently working together within this program, but we may continue to work in artificial intelligence, advanced digital skills, and development and base use of digital capacity for the upcoming calls. Now, I'd like to give some information about another program, an Erasmus Plus program. This is another cooperation platform for us, and this is EU's most comprehensive support program, education and training. It offers much more than student exchange. It also supports innovation and digital transformation in education, training, and youth work. For Turkey and Hungary, Erasmus Plus can be used to develop joint projects that teach digital skills, promote entrepreneurship, and support innovation in universities and vocational schools. Through partnerships, projects between institutions and businesses, both countries can share experience, create new learning models, and train people for the digital economy. For the past 10 years, Turkey and Hungary have built strong mobility and project partnerships under Erasmus+. Thousands of students and staff have benefited from this exchange, strengthening their mutual understanding in the field of vocational education and higher education, and around 3,500 projects have been co-implemented so far with a total budget of 250 million euros. Now, let's look closer to cooperation figures. Hungary ranks middle level among Erasmus Plus mobility partners, sending students and staff to Turkey with around 6,000 participants between 2014 and 2024. While this shows an active exchange, there is still room to expand mobility and institutional partnerships between two countries. And Hungary, as you see, ranks 8 among countries sending students and mobility between the same period. That means Hungary is one of Turkey's stronger mobility partners, outperforming many other EU members. Hungary is an important partner for Turkey in Erasmus+, and this foundation can be built upon for deeper cooperation in research, digital skills, and innovation programs. Hungary and Turkey collaborated in nearly 3,400 projects for the past 10 years. This shows that both countries have an active but moderate cooperation. They are both interested in innovation, digital transformation, and vocational training, so there is good potential to increase joint Erasmus Plus projects in the future. And you can see the picture from the Hungarian side as well. So Turkey are Hungary and among each other's most preferred partners in training and education collaborations. Now, finally, I'd like to move to another program. This is the Single Market Program, and Turkey participates in the COSME component of this program. COSME offers a valuable platform for both countries to deeper collaboration in entrepreneurship and SME development. It supports basically SMEs by improving access to finance, market opportunities, and digital tools, and become greener, all essential for staying competitive in today's global economy, in fact. For Turkey and Hungary, this program, the COSME component, provides some tools for cooperation, such as supporting international partnerships of SMEs in digital transformation and green innovation, use Enterprise Europe Network, which are active in both countries, to connect businesses, startups, clusters, and universities, strengthen joint entrepreneurship projects, especially in innovation-driven sectors. However, COSME is beyond a funding program. The program finances the world's largest support network for small and medium enterprises, which is the Enterprise Europe Network, as I mentioned. In practice, it helps companies find businesses, technology, and research partners across Europe and beyond. This network includes more than 3,000 experts in more than 70 countries around the world. And this network helps companies, universities, and innovation centers from Turkey and Hungary connect with each other. Each country has local European Enterprise Network contact points hosted by chambers of commerce, development agencies, and research centers. And you see the local contact points from Turkey on the screen. The services they offer are free of charge. They serve a wide range of services to SMEs, just as I said, to innovate, grow, and go international. And these are the Turkish members, Enterprise Europe Network local points, as you see on the screen. And there are 8 Hungarian members of the Enterprise Europe Network. You can reach up to details of the services offered by this network and contact details of the local points from the website shared on the screen. I also shared the links, and we are going to share these links with you as well. I'd like to touch upon a special initiative under COSME, the Erasmus for Young Entrepreneurs program. This is different from Erasmus Plus, of course. This is an initiative under COSME. This program connects new entrepreneurs with experienced business owners in another European country. It allows new entrepreneurs from Turkey to spend time in Hungary, learning how European SMEs work, how they use technology, and how they build partnerships. At the same time, Hungarian entrepreneurs can host Turkish partners, explore Turkey's growing market, and find opportunities for joint startups or innovation projects. This two-way exchange helps both sides share experience, create networks, and support entrepreneurship. And a success story comes from Turkey, as you see. Duygu Yılmaz Köksal, she was awarded as the New Entrepreneur of the Year 2025. She's the founder of a firm Saledo, a company dedicated to transforming banana surplus into valuable, sustainable products. And her participation in this program in the Netherlands as a new entrepreneur proved to be an impactful experience for her. For international growth and innovation, you can learn about Duygu's story and other young entrepreneurs' stories from the Erasmus for Young Entrepreneurs website. So there are the local points in your countries you can consult if you are interested in the program. As you see, in Turkey, there are 8 local contact points, and in Hungary, there are 2. I will also like to share with you the national coordinators of the programs that we have talked about today. As you see in both Turkey and Hungary, there are national contact points, NCPs, where you can get in touch and receive detailed information about opportunities, application processes, and other complementary opportunities, and you can ask for support. As final words, I'd like to recommend that you actively monitor relevant opportunities according to your capacity and areas of expertise, and participate in partnerships when you can contribute and invest yourself. And that's all I'd like to share with you today. Thank you for listening to me.
Thank you, Mrs. And I would like to confirm, because I see in the chat that there are several questions about how will we share the slides. We will. After the event, you're going to get a kind of follow-up letter with a link, and the link will, through the link, you can reach our website, and both the presentations and the recording will be shared there. So do not worry, you can reach it easily. Okay, and now we will turn our attention to Horizon Europe, the EU's flagship program for research and innovation. Please welcome Serhat Melik, Horizon Europe National Contact Point at TÜBİTAK, who will share insights on opportunities for collaboration.
Thank you very much. I hope you can see my slides well. Actually, first of all, thank you very much for hosting such a nice event. It's a pleasure to be in here. We would like to also welcome to you all. My name is Serhat Melik. I am working in the Scientific and Technological Research Council of Turkey, TÜBİTAK. TÜBİTAK is responsible from the coordination, national coordination of Horizon Europe for Turkey, and I am actually serving as a national contact point, NCP, for Cluster 5, which is climate, energy, and mobility, and also NCP for EU missions, and also NCP for New European Bauhaus facility. This event is also very important for us because I would like to, we really would like to extend our sincere thanks to the organizers for hosting such a valuable event under the Turkey-Hungary 2025 Year of Science and Innovation. We strongly believe that the Horizon Europe program offers a significant platform to strengthen cooperation between Turkey and Hungary's research and innovation ecosystem. And this event is an excellent opportunity to explore and enhance collaboration, particularly with the ongoing and upcoming calls for projects. And today I would like to share with you some general information about Horizon Europe and try to outline the various cooperation opportunities which are right now available. So let's begin. Horizon Europe is an EU framework program. What is EU framework program? These are the main, let's say, instruments for funding research and innovation under European Union. These programs are regarded as the world's largest civilian and research and innovation program in terms of budget and scope. One of the main aims of the program is to foster social and economic development and also try to facilitate cooperation between industry and university by encouraging them, and also try to seek to enhance cooperation across various policy areas in European Union according to the utmost policies of European Union. When we actually look at Turkey, Turkey has been participating to the program since the sixth framework program in 2002, holding the status of associated country. Since then, you can see that there is Turkey's involvement has steadily increased with significant number of progress in terms of number of projects granted or number of participating organizations or number of Turkish coordinators in multi-partner consortia. So we hope that it will also continue in the upcoming period. Horizon Europe is labeled as FP9 and has the budget as an estimated budget more than 9 billion euros, which will run between the period 2021 to 2027. Europe also has similar, let's say, objectives of EU framework programs to strengthen Europe scientifically and technologically, and try to keep enhance the capacity and keep the competitiveness and employment by increasing and enhancing, and also address the societal challenges. As you can see, there are four main pillars under Horizon Europe, and global challenges, industrial competitiveness takes the largest share, and excellent science follows closely in the second. When we look over the current performance of Turkey in Horizon Europe program, up to date, actually more than 1,000 projects implementers from across our national research and innovation ecosystem has taken part more than 700 projects. Actually, this is a clear reflection of our shared commitment and co-creation and collaboration, let's say, ambition in European level. Notably, there are 50 of these projects are coordinated by Turkish organizations. It also showing us that we are not only active in participating to Horizon Europe program, but also building trust and recognition given to the Europe for leading to, let's say, multi-partner projects. In financial terms, Turkish participants have been awarded about approximately 260 million euros so far. And if you look at the project distribution over clusters, cluster 5 actually climate energy mobility cluster stands out the largest area of engagement, almost 34% of our projects. This is followed by cluster 4, which is digital industry and space, and also cluster 6, food, bioeconomy, natural resources, is also very, let's say, among the successful areas. In addition, Turkish researchers and institutes are also active in excellence-focused programs, such as in European Research Council, in Marie Skłodowsky Creations, in widening participation, spreading excellence part. So we are not only participating, we are also trying to contributing to the overall picture of European science and innovation. Let us turning now to the cooperation between Turkey and Hungary. Actually, in Horizon Europe, there's a strong partnership, but there's a strong foundation between the two countries. It is not just, let's say, started in Horizon Europe, but since FP7, there's a long-standing and active partnership between two countries. But under Horizon Europe, specifically, Turkey and Hungary jointly participated 82 projects so far. This is also a clear indication that our institutions are, let's say, finding common ground in addressing key challenges together. And looking at, let's say, the bar chart, in almost every year, the participant of both countries could participate on average 20 projects. And also we can see that cluster 5, cluster 6, and cluster 4 are among jointly supported projects in which both Turkish and Hungarian participants participated. When we look at the general structure of Horizon Europe, actually, you can see that it's composed of 4 pillars. The first pillar is about excellent science. It's so-called as the main sources of research, which are, let's say, both researchers and research infrastructure. The second part is global challenges and European industrial competitiveness. This supports research relating societal challenges and reinforce technological and industrial capacities through 6 clusters. And the third pillar is innovative Europe. It is about co-creation, and it is about innovation performance, enhancing innovation performance, innovation transfer, and scaling up in Europe. And widening participation is contains actions that, on one hand, contribute to the building research and innovation capacity for widening countries, and also, in other hand, aim to support the consolidation and impact in European research area. So we will deep into details in upcoming slide. For the excellent science, as you can see, it's composed of main pillars: European Research Council, support frontier research, multi-curricular actions for enhancing the researchers' career through mobility and training, and also research infrastructures projects being, let's say, supported under this program. European Research Council actually funds groundbreaking and, let's say, high risk, high gain, ambitious projects. It offers actually different funding opportunities according to, depending on the date that have earned, let's say, scientists gain PhD. Individual scientists could benefit from European Research Council projects. So there are different type of, let's say, sub-programs. And right now, ERC Consolidator Grant has been launched on the 25th of September and expected to close on the beginning of January, 13th of January 2026. You can also, let's say, seek opportunity to, let's say, apply for the call of Consolidator Grant. Actually, also there's another grant called Synergy Grant. This is also will be opened by the time 5th of November. You can also seek opportunity to apply for it. When we look at the Merit Scholarship Creation, it provides grants in all stages of researchers in order to improve their career and try to enhance mobility of researchers transnationally and interdisciplinary and intersectorally. So there are different types of, let's say, calls that could be applied. Postdoctoral fellowship for provide support to experienced researchers which have, let's say, 8-year PhD after that the researchers who, let's say, maximum 8 years after having PhD could apply for it. Doctoral networks, actually, it provides support for doctoral training of researchers and the staff exchange. It support for international and intersectoral cooperation between, let's say, academia and industry. The co-fund supports to provide the doctoral and fellowship programs. And there's also a Merit Scholarship and Citizens program, also aim to bring researchers to the general public and increase the awareness of research and innovation activities. Right now, you can still apply to doctoral networks, which will be closed 25th of November this year. Research infrastructures are the facilities, actual resources, and services that used by the communities. It try to enhance the accessibility of research infrastructure. Unfortunately, the calls have been closed right now, but in 2026 there will be other calls related to research infrastructures as well. Let's move to the second pillar, which is about global challenges and industrial competitiveness. It consists of 6 main clusters. The first one is about health. The aim of the cluster to, let's say, improve and protect the health and well-being of citizens of all ages by generating new knowledge. It's about preventing, diagnose, and treat diseases, support lifelong health, and also we can see that digital solutions and technologies have much been widely used in healthcare system. Right now, the calls are not active, but we can also look over the upcoming calls for 2026. The second cluster is about culture, creativity, and inclusive society. This is aimed to promote and, let's say, enhance democratic governance and citizen partnership, and try to enhance cultural heritage and respond to several societal, technological transformation and cultural transformation questions. The goals were closed so far, but could be open in 2026 as well. The third cluster is civil security for society. Actually, this cluster aims to support implementation of EU policies such as cybersecurity and disaster risk reduction in order to fight against crime and terrorism. There are several calls and projects related to the border management, and the calls are still open and will be closed on 12th of November 2025. Cluster 4 will be the main source of the competitiveness of Horizon Europe. So actually it is digital industry and space, and will support the key enabling technologies such as artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, robotics, Earth observation, manufacturing technologies, advanced materials, and so on. the calls will be active for 2026 as well. The fifth cluster is for climate, energy, and mobility. The main aim is to accelerate transition to climate neutrality and resilience while make the energy and transport system environmental friendly and sustainable. So actually, there are different destinations under this cluster. The first one is about climate science and transition. The other one is much more about, let's say, cross-cutting of both energy and transport, such as next-generation batteries. Also, the use and production and usage of energy technologies, such as renewable energy technologies, energy system and storage, and also to make the mobility, all modes of mobility environmental friendly and take the mobility system as a whole in aviation, maritime transport, in zero emission vehicles, in autonomous and connected vehicles area. Actually, there are active calls in this area. For instance, the next generation battery calls or destination 6 calls related to connected, cooperated, and automated mobility or multimodal transport calls or urban mobility calls will be closed in the 20th of January 2026. And also for destination 3 and 4, which is actually covering the sustainable, secure, and competitive energy supply and the using of energy, the calls for that destinations will be closed on 17th of February 2026. The last cluster is for food, bioeconomy, natural resources, agriculture, and environment. The aim is ensuring the sustainability of food and also preventing environmental degradation, preserving biodiversity, which is really important between the period of 2025 to 2027. In the strategic planning of European Commission, there's a special part which actually highlighted 10% of that period will be earmarked for biodiversity actions. So actually, a generous, let's say, amount of budget assigned for biodiversity-related projects. But there are also other projects like water security or preserving, let's say, the environmental monitoring and digital solution. The calls will be again open in the beginning of 2026. In the third pillar, which is about innovative Europe, actually, the first pillar is about European Innovation Council. Actually, in this pillar, in this area, European Innovation Council supports high-risk breakthrough innovation and technologies with market-creating potential. The aim is targeting deep tech innovation, which are basing on cutting-edge scientific, let's say, disciplines. Under European Innovation Council, there are different funding instruments such as EIT Accelerator, supports small, medium-sized enterprises, particular startups and spin-offs, in order to scale up their disruptive innovation activities. And under this area, actually, the program target innovation at up to TRL 6 and above. And it is not only, let's say, providing grants, but also it also provides equity investment management managed by European Innovation Council Fund. There's also another fund called EIC Pre-Accelerator, also dedicated to widening countries and the stakeholders at early stage of SMEs. The solutions are expecting between TRL 4 to 6. And there's also EIT Pathfinder. This is actually open projects between TRL technology readiness level 1 to 4, and EIT transition targeting technology to cover between technology readiness level 3 to 6. And also, there are European Institute of Innovation and Technology areas. It tries to cover the innovation value chain from education to entrepreneurship. And under this area, actually, there are knowledge and innovation communities. There are currently 10 knowledge and innovative communities, which are called as KICs, such as InnoEnergy, EIT Digital, EIT Food, Health, Manufacturing, Urban Mobility, Raw Material, Water, Cultural Creativity areas are the KICs that actually regularly, let's say, open call for proposal. And European innovation ecosystem aim to create and expand more connected, inclusive, and efficient innovation ecosystem. So there are calls to prepare the innovation ecosystem for the innovators. And the last pillar is wider. It is about widening participation and strengthening European research area for widening countries, which including Turkey and Hungary. So there are lots of opportunities under this area. You can see improving access to excellence, attracting and mobilizing the best talent, and developing European research innovation system. Right now, the call European Excellence Initiative is right active under a wider area and will be closed on the 20th November 2025. And apart from there's actually for FP9 in Horizon Europe, European Commission actually defined a new structure called EU missions. Actually, these EU missions are accepted as the flagship of Horizon Europe. They are large-scale initiatives setting clear time-bound, and also they have a clear budget, and they drive focused efforts towards some of the greatest challenges, such as climate change, cancer, ocean restoration, climate neutrality in cities, and also soil health. So there are actually, you can see the 5 main missions, and the goals try to help the participants to aim to reach out the targets of missions defined by European Commission. Right now, actually, the calls of adaptation to climate change is active and will be closed in the, I believe, next week, 29th of October. And also there will be another call will be opened in the beginning of 2026 under climate neutral and smart cities. So you can also check the details from Public and Standards portal. And also another new structure is New European Bauhaus. Actually, it is a cross-cluster issue. It's a pioneering movement to taking attention to built environment. It's a European Commission defined NEP facility. It's a multi-annual and cross-cutting tool aimed to revitalize European neighborhoods. And there are also an R&I component under there, which actually cover 3 main destinations. This is there are calls to, let's say, targeting the connecting green transformation, social inclusion, and local democracy, circular regenerative approach for built environment, and also innovative funding and new business models for transformation of neighborhoods. The calls of New European Bauhaus is active right now and will be closed in the 12th of November 2025. You can also check the details from the website. And also there are other tools called European partnerships. These are initiatives in which European Commission and public and private partners commit themselves jointly to, let's say, support development and implementation of research and innovation program. So there are 3, let's say, distinct different types of partnerships, such as institutionalized European partnership, co-program partnership. These are mainly public-private partnerships. So actually, it's, let's say, expected to private sector to take part in here as well, but it's not just limited to private sector. Resource technology organizations, universities could also be there and participate. And also there are co-foundations. Actually, it is also a unique opportunity to enhance cooperation between Turkish and Hungarian researchers. In co-founded partnerships, actually, it's a public partnership type of, let's say, platforms. The funding agencies like TÜBİTAK come together, join their resources, and let's say co-launch international, let's say, internationally competitive calls proposals. Right now, for instance, in clean energy transition, in agroecology, as far as I know, both Hungarian and Turkish, let's say, funding agencies could participate. So you can, these are the outline ones are the ones that have been participated so far. And in the right side, you can see the partnerships in which TÜBİTAK or other, let's say, Turkish institutes take part, and the call for proposals will be launched sooner. You can also check our website in order to get the updated information. And apart from that, there are several, let's say, projects. Also, let's say, launch calls for funding third parties, such as LITSE. It's a joint effort between Europe and African countries. Also, Marlan for related to maritime low emission network, and also LUC. It is, let's say, a cooperation platform between Ukraine and the European Research Area. And as Turkey, the Turkish participant will be funded through, according to our national rules, a program, support program for increasing the capacity to benefit from international research funds, which is shortly called as 171 support program. Both higher education institutes, training and research hospitals, or let's say SMEs and large companies could benefit from it. Actually, it is, let's say, a brilliant program, facilitate cooperation between industry and academy. So please also check the details from our national website. And there are different funding types under Horizon Europe, such as research innovation action for creating new knowledge, or innovation action for demonstration or application of research. So there are different funding types, and there are different funding rates. Best funding and research and innovation action, regardless of the type of, let's say, organization, could be found 100%, but innovation actions, they are close to market proposals and projects. So non-profit organizations, again, could be funded 100%, but profitable organizations could be funded up to 70%. And when we look at general rules, application rules, actually, as in other EU programs, the calls under Horizon Europe program are also published on the funding and tenders portal. So there are several eligibility criteria. For instance, the minimum number of partners required is stated in the in each call, but this is at least, let's say, one independent legal entity from European member states, and at least two independent legal entities either in member state or associated countries like Turkey. Also, in, let's say, 2022, for calls with deadlines after 2022, there's a new eligibility criteria, is called gender equality plan. So the public institutions, research organizations, and higher education institutions should have a gender equality plan while, let's say, submitting proposal. But gender specific is also essential for the development of project idea. So it is expected to consider the gender dimension in the content of the proposal. And it's also important in ranking of the proposal, there should be a gender balance in the project team. So you should also consider the gender balance while, let's say, establishing your project team and in your, let's say, consortia. From that, you can also take part in evaluation process of Horizon Europe. We also really care for our applicants to become as an evaluator, serving as an evaluator in the Horizon Europe program, because it's a valuable opportunity. It allows you to review the project proposal firsthand, gain insight into how successful proposals are, and also you can better understand the evaluation criteria. Also, it is a chance for you to get in touch with other experts working in similar fields and broadening your professional network. You can just register from funding and tenders portal, and generally commission, let's say, funding agent, executive agencies select the experts from the pool of experts. And while, let's say, registering, please use some relevant keywords, let's say, comply with updated call for proposals. All Horizon Europe call for proposals you can find from funding and tenders portal. Just go to the portal, then actually filter to Horizon Europe program, then filter and select open call for submission, and then select, let's say, the sector or area that you are interested in. You can see also the work programs and the funding details in the funding and tenders portal. Actually, details of Horizon Europe goals are provided in so-called document called Work Program. This is one of the most essential documents for understanding the calls. So you can carefully review the call conditions, expected outcomes, and scope of the sections that's stated in each call. And also under funding and tenders portal, while actually, let's say, submitting a proposal while setting up a consortium, you can use funding and tenders portal either during building a consortium or while trying to join an existing one. Topic has its own dedicated web page under this portal. You can explore partner search section under there. In the section, you can review the profiles to find potential partners for your consortium, or you can create a profile on behalf of your organization in order to select it by, let's say, the organizations who are actually trying to setting up a consortium. There are also networking and brokerage events. These are essential events in order to join or setting up a consortium. And also you can take the previous projects from the database of European Commission, which is called Cordis. Also, in several, let's say, partnerships have their own project portfolio documents. You can also check the previous projects from there. You can find the details in our website. And during submitting your proposal, please also, these are the humble, let's say, recommendations. Please carefully read the work program, pay attention to the content of the call topic, read the evaluation criteria. This is all open and accessible to everyone. You can reach out through funding and tenders portal. And please do not include activities that are not eligible for funding. Please respect the eligibility criteria and admissibility criteria. Just page limit, and do not wait until the last minute, because generally in the last minute there are lots of proposals try to, let's say, submit their proposal to the funding and tender portal. So please do not wait until last minute. And as National Coordination Office, we try to help our national stakeholders. We conduct info days. We actually arrange one-to-one meetings. We build international partnerships. We map consortium and try to match with let's say, national stakeholders. You can always reach out in our National Coordination Office. At least, let's say, more than one people are dealing with in each cluster and area. We also have a dedicated support program in order to, let's say, increase the participation of Turkish stakeholders and also increase the quality of and leadership role of Turkish stakeholders. There are like four main supporting programs. The first one is this is the coordination support program. Only Turkish participants could benefit from this program, by the way. It is about to increase the number of coordinators in multi-partner projects. It's a modular program. There are some sub-instruments like pre-evaluation service or project writing service. You can also find details in our website from the address stated in here. There's also travel support. Let's say, participate brokerage days or information days or the consortium building, let's say, events. Also, there are membership to network support. It's about use for inclusion of project proposals. They are really active, actually, the networks, really active in the preparation of proposals. So there's a list stated in the website of Horizon Europe or national website. You can also, universities and SMEs could apply for that support in order to, let's say, to become a member in that active networks, and also travel support for hosting, let's say, coordinators living abroad in Turkey. We are also organizing international, let's say, brokerage events. The last one was organized in Istanbul. It was about ICT technologies, IT Turkey 2025. So actually, more than 100 representatives, either from industry and public institutions, or from all, let's say, geographical area of Europe, let's say, participate in this event. There are different parallel sessions such as digital smart health, green and digital transition, digital tips and 60 and smart mobility. Actually, we are also planning to continue, let's say, organize such international brokerage events late in the future. Please keep tuned and let's say subscribe our website in order to receive updated information about our, let's say, plans and events. And I am, let's say, finalizing my presentation. Actually, as you can see, the majority of the call for proposals of 2025 year have been closed so far, but the new ones, let's say, will be launched in the beginning or either at the end of this year or in the beginning of next year. But we expect that both information days and brokerage events could be organized in January 2026. For instance, for this cluster 6, it is about food, bioeconomy, natural resources, agriculture, and environment. There will be a brokerage event which is announced to, let's say, arrange 21st of January. It's a physical brokerage event. You can, of course, should register beforehand. And also, there's a 2-day info date. The first one will be organized in the 22nd of, let's say, January. Will cover the project or, let's say, calls for destination 2 and 3rd, the 2nd and 3rd. And the second day will cover 1st, 5th, 6th, and 7th, let's say, destinations. You can, let's say, register through the website. The presentation will be shared to you sooner. And also, you have chance to actually look over and examine the details of the upcoming calls. Actually, European Commission already published the draft version of the calls of clusters and Horizon Europe areas in their comitology register website. You can check for it. And also, you can also subscribe our website. Please subscribe our website and follow our social media, let's say, channels in order to receive updated information. Last but not least, apart from Horizon Europe, actually, we have a long-standing cooperation, bilateral cooperation with Hungary. For instance, last year, both TÜBİTAK and Hungarian National Research Development and Innovation Office launched a bilateral cooperation call. The call aimed to support joint academia industry, let's say, collaboration projects between researchers of Turkey and Hungary. The call was about health, living and disease prevention, green transition, circular economy, and digital transition areas. And, the call received significant interest and high number of applications. The evaluation process has been completed, but the results are planned to be announced very soon. And we are also expecting to, let's say, launch a new call either at the end of this year or the first quarter of 2026. So please stay tuned for the updates. Thank you very much again for your interest. Feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Serhat. It was a very, very useful and detailed information about Horizon program. And now we continue with another key EU initiative, the Digital Europe program. And I would like to ask again Mr. János Daszkal, the Senior Project Manager and DEP National Contact Point at the Hungarian Development Promotion Office, to tell us let us show a bit more about the Digital Europe program.
Thank you very much, Agi. Can you see my screen now? I shared it. Yes, hopefully you can. I can see it on Agi's screen as well. So, as I mentioned in the beginning, I will go from the more general to the specific in my presentations. So the first was about the general EU funding landscape, the direct funds. And now I will talk about digitalization, and within digitalization, the Digital Europe program. As I mentioned, digitalization is a very important, the so-called cross-cutting issue within the European Union. So this is why lots of programs dealing with digitalization, but from various aspects. For example, Horizon Europe is dealing with digitalization from research and innovation point of view. CEF, the infrastructure point of view, and other programs like, for example, the EDF is the defense point of view, and so on, and so on, and so on. And Digital Europe program is mainly about two things. The first one is the skills, the digital skills on two levels, the everyday people skills and the digital expert skills and competitiveness. And the other thing among skills is, let's say, the services, how we implement digital services and put them to the market and to the people. As I mentioned already, that always there are some strategy behind and some focus points. And the digitalization strategy is about a document which is named Digital Decade 2030. This is the, let's say, the highest level document in the EU about digitalization. And it is very important to understand the main focus points, because based on these focus points, all the digitalization efforts within the EU are planned. The first one is digital sovereignty. It means building Europe's own technologies and infrastructure to reduce dependency of non-EU technologies. This is important, and sovereignty can be found everywhere in EU now. The second one is, as I mentioned, digital skills and education. So to make sure people have the right competencies, and as well, more ICT experts are trained. The third one is the infrastructure, because bigger and bigger, stronger and stronger infrastructure is required to run and operate the digital applications. So the digital infrastructure focuses on fast and secure networks and new computing technologies. The fourth one is to ensure that the digital transformation would be as green and sustainable as possible, because it also requires lots of energy, and we have to make sure that this is as sustainable as possible. The fifth one is digital innovation and business, because it is very important, and at the end of the day, that business could make use of the digital transformation, the digital development, so to help especially startups and SMEs to grow and stay competitive. The sixth one is digital security and trust, to protect citizens and companies, to secure digital environment, strong EU-wide cybersecurity and privacy standards. And the seventh one is the digital inclusion, to ensure that everyone can benefit from digital tools and services, regardless of, for example, age, location, or background, or anything. If we go further a step to define the main objectives of the Digital Europe program, the first one is the competitiveness. So Europe have to keep pace with global powers in areas like AI and cybersecurity, because, for example, you can see in AI, the competition is really global. So majority of the big AI players, especially regarding large language models, are from Asia and from the US. So this global competition is a must, is a very important factor towards EU and towards the Digital Europe program. The second one, we have to build scale through co-investment to combine EU and national resources to find large cross-border projects. Otherwise, it cannot be competitive if we don't reach a significant scale. The third one, to have and to gain control over the value chains, especially regarding, let's say, critical technologies, for example, chips, cloud, and digital infrastructure. The control over the value chain is very important. If you remember, in the COVID times, in Hungary, for example, for a couple of months, we just simply couldn't buy a new car because there was a lack of chips on the market. And without these chips, the European car producers couldn't produce cars simply. And this is why there was a lack on the market. And then the EU realized that the control over the value chain and sovereignty is very, very important. The fourth one is economic and societal challenges. And the Digital Europe program has to tackle with these as well. This is why healthcare, climate, transport, and public services, for example, are very, very important. The take-up of digital technologies, it means that the innovation will reach all regions, help citizens, governments, and businesses to go digital. And finally, as I mentioned, it should support SMEs with skills, tools, and talent. So as a next step, we go into a bit more detail and tell about the specific objectives and the main features of Digital Europe program. And it is also very important because although in this program there are some restrictions for associated countries like Turkey, but there are very important parts of the program, for example, AI, cloud, public sector innovation, lots of cross-border projects where Turkey can participate as an associated country. So this is why it is very important in a Turkey-Hungary cooperation to know as much about that as possible. So the first thing about the structure is that this is organized around specific objectives, 6 different specific objectives. This structure is reflected in, for example, the calls for proposals. So this is why we have to know about this. The first one is high-performance computing, over 2 billion euros to make Europe a leader in supercomputing. The second one is cloud, data, and AI to support trusted data spaces, shared infrastructure, ethical AI solution. It's 1.6 billion. The third one is cybersecurity, 1.4 billion to protect Europe's networks and citizens, because cybersecurity is really an issue nowadays. Fourth one, as I mentioned, advanced digital skills, over 500 million to train people in AI, data, and cybersecurity through organized academies and universities. The fifth one is the deployment of best use of digital technologies. It means cross-border projects. So over 1 billion euros to bring digital solutions to real world applications, especially in public services. And finally, semiconductors and chips to boost Europe's capacity in design, testing, and production of chips. Based on the work program, we have 3 waves of calls remaining in this cycle. The first one is launched now. It means that the calls are published already in the middle of October, and they will go live on 4th of November. So they are quite actual, and I will show some of the calls at the end of the presentation from this wave. And there will be another wave in the second half, starting in the second half of 26 and finishing also at the end of 26. And the fourth one, which will be launched at the very end of 26 and will be finished at the beginning of 27. So these will be the 3 last call waves in the Digital Europe program. So it is really worth to go to the Funding and Tenders portal to check the work program. And the first wave, what I mentioned here is wave number 2, already can be found as forthcoming calls on the Funding and Tenders portal. As I mentioned, there are some restrictions of the program regarding associated countries. So I would like to show just some details about 4 of the 6 specific objectives where Turkey and Hungary also can participate in. And the first 2 you can see on this slide. The first one is high-performance computing, which is about building a secure, world-class high-performance computing and data infrastructure. It means to develop European supercomputers with local technology. And it's not only about technology. It's very important to say, not only about technology, it's also about usability. So supercomputing power should be accessible to researchers, SMEs, hospitals, and public authorities. So it's not just to build a supercomputer capacity, but to generate projects and generate cooperations where real usage can be done or can be made on this capacity. A key new step is the creation of AI factories. This is a trusted environment next to Europe's top supercomputers where large AI models can be safely developed and deployed. As I mentioned, there are, let's say, among the 26 leading AI companies or large language model developing companies in the world now, as I saw statistics, out of the 26, there are 12 Americans, 11 Chinese, and the other 3 is 1 Canadian, 1 from France, and 1 from Israel. So from these numbers, you can see how Europe is, let's say, lagging behind in the global competition behind China and Asia and the US. So this is why it was really, really important. This part of the Digital Europe program focuses also on making AI and data innovation real and usable. So not just in labs, but across society and the economy. There are major themes, for example, the digital twins. The digital twins, it means the virtual replicas of real world systems, which is more and more important for testing and developing purposes. And this is developed and being deployed in very important sectors like health, for example. It is also worth mentioning the AI testing and experimentation facilities, the so-called TEFs, to help new AI solutions safely before deployment, ensuring compliance with EU rules and ethical standards. So testing is very, very important. And AI is mainly about Gen AI at the moment, is being integrated into key sectors like public administration, education, and creative industries. So helping Europe use AI responsibly and effectively. So as I mentioned, not just development, not just regulation, but real life projects, real life key sectors. The second part, the so-called the other 2 specific objectives, which is worth mentioning, is the advanced digital skills and deployment and interoperability. So as I mentioned today, the technology is not enough. People need the right skills to use it. That's why the Digital Europe program places strong focus on advanced digital skills. This is why the program supports excellence in education and training through digital skills academies, specialized university or short-term programs in areas like cybersecurity, semiconductors, quantum and digital health, and so on, and so on, and so on. It also targets the existing workforce, helping people upskill and reskill in key sectors such as industry, healthcare, public services. So the training is designed with industry needs in mind, so in cooperation with industries, to ensure relevance and impact. It's very, very important to find the contact between the training and between the usage of the trained people, so the industries and other sectors. It is also a very important target to attract more young people and women into ICT sector, because compared to US and compared to Asia, very low percentage of young people, and especially very low percentage of girls dealing with these topics. And it is a very big disadvantage compared to these 2, let's say, continents. So Europe has a goal, a quite strict goal regarding this. By 2030, we would like to achieve 20 million ICT specialists, and we are quite far behind it at the moment. Regarding project, we have also very important themes. As I mentioned, we have strong focus on SMEs and public administration to ensure they can take up tools like AI, blockchain, HPC, to stay competitive while improving services. So again, not just develop something, but to use these developments. And to enable this, Europe is investing in secure and interoperable digital infrastructure. So this is why interoperability is so important. will be some kind of standards, for example, the European blockchain services infrastructure and the EU digital identity wallet. This is why these are so important. Also a very important factor to build confidence in digital transformation. If there is no confidence, then no one wants to do anything online. And without this, it's just impossible. So this is why safer internet centers and EDMOs about disinformation, fighting against disinformation is very important. And it's worth mentioning the European Digital Innovation Hubs, who play a crucial role in this SO2. They help companies and public actors to test and adopt digital solutions. And finally, as I mentioned, there are some actual calls which are now in the forthcoming phase, but will be live on 4th of November. But they already can be seen on the Funding and Tenders portal and can be checked from all aspects. So all the call document and everything can be read about there. This is let's say, the general structure, how we all usually analyze these calls. We collected all the information regarding the calls, regarding 5 calls, and I won't go into very much details because we are a bit behind schedule, as I see, if I look at my watch. So the call ID, the type of the call, which is the CSA, means a coordination and support action. Percentage means the intensity of the support of the grant, which is this call is 100%, which is not a usual thing. The deadlines, the call will be live on 4th of November and 3rd of March. It is the deadline, the budget, the number of forecast winners. So this is coordination and support action 1 winner. We attached also the link where you can click on it and you can see everything about this. So the first one is a digital skills call, European League of Advanced Digital Skills Academies. So as I mentioned, this is a coordination and support action. The main objective is to create a European network of advanced digital skills academies. There are already established digital skills academies, and this goal is about to create a network of them, connect and scale up national and sectoral initiatives regarding AI, cybersecurity, quantum, and semiconductors. And the key deliverables as a coordination and support action is quite normal to create this network, which means to create a governance structure, set up quality standards, certification frameworks, and so on, and so on, and so on. As it is always, almost always, it's a consortium required to apply for this call. It's targeted to universities, training providers, research centers, and so on, and so on. And the multi-beneficiary consortium is required 3 independent applicants from 3 different eligible countries. Regarding skills, there is also another one, European Advanced Digital Skills Competitions. And this call aims to inspire and engage young Europeans in the most advanced areas of digital technology. So organize competitions. It's also a coordination and support action with 7 million euros. The goal is to build of 6 Europe-wide challenges. So it's 6 competitions to promote creativity, project-based learning, and so on and so on. And the deliverables, what the winner should deliver is a competition framework, a competition rulebook, an implementation roadmap, a long-term sustainability plan to ensure that these challenges continue beyond the project as well. So it is also a consortium required project, minimum 3 independent applicants from at least 3 different eligible countries. The EDMO means European Digital Media Observatory Hubs, and it is about disinformation or fighting against disinformation. This call supports up to 8 projects that will maintain and further develop the EDMO platform, which exists already, to expand its language coverage and fact-checking capacity across Europe. For example, if there's no EDMO in a country, then from that country or a consortium can apply for this, because it's EU's interest that this EDMO network covers all Europe. So this is about extension of the EDMO network. So I would like to draw your attention to this as well. It's not a coordination and support action. It's a so-called SME support action, which means that it's a normal grant, but if you are an SME as an applier or an applicant, then you, instead of 50%, you can get 75% of support. As I mentioned, AI mostly means Gen AI at the moment in Europe. This is the most important thing. And this is about Gen AI for public administrations. This is about to bring the generative AI directly into the daily operations of the public administration. So it's not about theory, not about something. It's about really daily operations of public administration. So it means to have 2 pilot projects, to have pilot project to scale up and replicate successful Gen AI solutions across member states, to build a community of practice that shares knowledge, develops replication toolkits, technical benchmarks, starter kits, and so on and so on and so on. So the deliverable is related to this as well. So they include repositories of replicability assessments, help desk for technical and legal support, annual reporting, and so on and so on and so on. This is also, as usual, a consortium of minimum 3 independent applicants from 3 different eligible countries. This is the, let's say, the most usual requirement regarding the consortium. And last but not least, we have a call about virtual worlds test beds. It means to test and large-scale experimentation of immersive and extended reality technologies across Europe, because virtual world and reality technologies are quite in focus of the European Union. And this is a kind of call regarding test beds related to this focus point. A total budget of 17 million, it's quite big. With a 50% funding rate, as it's normal regarding DEP in the simple grant structure. And they would like to fund 2 large projects. The first one is about industrial application, such as, for example, construction or manufacturing and so on. And the second one is societal use case, like education, healthcare, or cultural heritage, or any other like this. So the project should set up operational test beds, combining physical and digital facilities, where new facility solutions can be validated in real-world environment. So the deliverables are related to this, include demonstrators, catalogs of services, long-term sustainability plans, and so on and so on and so on. The targeted participators, research organizations, universities, technology providers. And the consortium setup is a bit more interesting. So minimum 4 participators out of minimum 3 countries, and minimum 1 research organization and minimum 1 private company from the targeted sector should be involved. So this is the, let's say, very short, and sorry for the rushing, but of course it's a lot of information, and in much more detail we could have been dived into it, but it's impossible. So this is why I put the link in the presentation. We will share with you the presentation, and I would like to encourage everyone to contact your national contact points regarding this. And regarding Hungary, when these calls will be live, 4th of November, and there will be EU Info Days on it. After them, we will organize National Info Days in Hungary, and probably all the countries will organize these events. So thank you very much for your attention, and hope it was worth watching. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ines, again. Both of your presentations were very, very useful, I think. And now we heard a lot about the programs and the theory behind the EU funding. Now let's turn to practice and discover a real success story. The project that you will hear about is a great example of a large consortium showcasing Turkish-Hungarian collaboration under EU funding, presented by representatives of the partner organization. So please welcome Clara Amaro, Innovation Consultant at Innomind Group from the Hungarian side, and Aygan Erkal, Secretary General at IMCAD from the Turkish side, who will introduce the United Circle project.
Okay, so hi everyone. So Vichy, can you please share the presentation? Okay, so first of all, thank you and good morning, everyone, and thank you for inviting us today and for the opportunity to introduce United Circles, about which I will give you a general overview of the project. United Circles is finishing its first year, and it's a 4 years innovation action under Horizon Europe that brings together nearly 50 partners from across Europe, from 14 countries across Europe, including, of course, strong partners and teams from Turkey and Hungary. At its heart, United Circles is about collaboration. It's about connecting industry, cities, innovators, and citizens to make Europe's economy both circular and climate neutral. So we are not just rethinking waste, we are rethinking how regions, cities, and industries work together. Next slide, please. Okay, let's start with the why. The challenge we are tackling is clear. Europe's process industries must decarbonize. Sectors like steel, cement, chemicals, plastics, and ceramics remain essential to our modern life, but they are really among the biggest emitters of CO2. Today's industries, from the other side, are under pressure, facing energy costs, climate action commitments, and new EU mechanisms like the Carbon Border Adjustment Mechanism. At the same time, customers, from construction to consumer goods, are demanding more and more greener, sustainable, and low carbon products. So, to stay competitive, industries need to rethink their inputs, their energy, and their entire value chains. So the key challenge is how can industry replace virgin raw materials with circular feedstocks that are scale, reliable, and economically interest. So that's how circularity became the key. Next slide, please. Our cities today generate billions of tons of waste every year, from construction rubble to wastewater sludge, from food waste to used packaging. We know that urban waste can be a valuable feedstock for industry, and it has a far lower carbon footprint than other virgin materials. And yet, most of it is still sent to landfills or incineration. So why aren't industries using this urban waste more widely? Why? Because mainly waste quality is inconsistent, and processing it in something useful is very costly. That is exactly where United Circle steps in, aiming to close this gap by innovation, collaboration, and digitalization, turning urban waste into industrial valuable resources. Next slide, please. So, to make the transformation possible, the European Union launched the concept of hubs for circularity under the Process for Planet partnership. We must think of Hub for Circularity as a regional ecosystems that connects industry, municipalities, research, and citizens. Together, these all stakeholders co-design industrial urban symbiosis, which are practical ways to reuse resources, share energy, and eliminate waste at a local level. In simple terms, what one sector throws away, another one can use, whether it's energy, waste, or materials. So the main goal is to reduce carbon dioxide, CO2, increase resource efficiency, and move towards zero waste, not just through technology, but through collaboration and shared governance. So the hubs for circularity are all about collaboration. That has never been seen, and to unlock and create new circular value chains. Next slide, please. So United Circles turned this concept into reality. So we are building 3 full-scale demonstrator hubs, one in Ankara in Turkey, the other one in Salamanca in Spain, and one in Veneto in Italy. Each of them are focusing on specific circular value chains. In Ankara, the construction demolition waste will be transformed in low-carbon materials for the building industry. In Salamanca, they used urban wastewater and converted it into clean water, biogas, and cellulose for pulp and paper production. In Veneto, food waste and used cooking oil is upcycled to biodegradable bioplastics. Across these 3 demonstrator hubs, we developed 15 technology innovations, advancing them to TRL7 to make them real, deployable, and industrial solutions. These innovations are also backed by digital tools, governance models, and financial frameworks that make circularity work in practice. Now, I will take the opportunity to look at our partners from Turkey, who are essential to the project's innovation backbone. We have Basta Cement, Ecodeng, Interact Innovation, Minova, Tape Betopan, and IMSAT, which is the Turkish Construction Materials Association, which is also bridging policy dialogue. Together, they are driving the Ankara Hub for Circularity, which is focused on construction and demolition waste. This hub will demonstrate how urban waste can feed directly into low-carbon construction through circular cement, upcycled concrete products, and digital traceability for materials. Together, they're showing how digitalization and circular economy can decarbonize one of the world's most resource-intensive sectors. Ecodeng also leads Work Package 4, which will develop decision support systems, material passports, and AI-based platforms to connect industries and regions into circular networks. In short, Turkey is at the heart of United Circles' technological and digital innovation. Next slide, please. Beyond these demonstrators, we are growing a network of replication regions through mirroring hubs and seed hubs. Mirroring hubs like the one in Pest in Hungary take the best practice from the demonstrators and build investment-ready circular business model, enabling the startup of new hubs for circularity in the regions. The seed hubs, on the other hand, start small, setting up initial circular ecosystems with limited funding but strong mentorship and tools. This approach ensures that United Circles' impact goes beyond our core regions, creating a European movement for circular industry. However, circular transformation isn't just about technology. It's also about people, governance, and community. That's why, alongside with the technical innovation and digitalization, United Circles also deploys 3 cross-cutting toolkits to support every hub. The governance and operations, which will provide local governance structures and fundraising models. The social and environmental innovation will provide life cycle analysis, capacity building, and engaging tools and to promote behavioral change. And the Products and Material Observatory, which will develop digital product passports, waste mapping systems, and technology valorization and market-oriented routes. These frameworks ensure that all hubs are not technically strong, but also socially inclusive and economically sustainable. At this point, I take the opportunity to present the roles played by the Hungarian partners in United Circles. In Hungary, Inomine Digital Innovation Hub leads the South Transdanubian Hub for Circularity, which is based in Pest. This is a mirroring hub, which means it focuses on replication, learning from the demonstrators, and preparing investment-ready circular projects for the region. Our South Transdanubian hub focuses on connecting urban waste treatment and bio-based materials value chains. It aims to transform wastewater into valuable resources, namely cellulose for paper, biogas for energy, and clean water for use, namely in agriculture. We are joined by Grunwald, the city of Pest, Tete Forrás, Vajra Papír, and others, and we are all working closely with local industries, research centers, and innovators to co-design pilots that can attract investment and scale up after the project ends. Inomine also leads Work Package 5, which covers replication, social innovation, financing, and sustainability. As we like to say in Pest, from waste to health, but also from isolation to cooperation. Next slide, please. In conclusion, over 4 years, by the end of the project, United Circles aims to deliver 15 validated circular technologies at industrial scale, 3 demonstrators plus 4 mirroring hubs for circularity with long-term governance and business models, and also at least one seed hub started up, and a replicable European blueprint for circular industrial urban collaboration. For Hungary and Turkey, this means becoming regional leaders in sustainable circular industry. And for Europe as a whole, it means faster progress towards the Green Deal goals and climate neutrality, and of course, resource efficiency. Next slide, please. So to sum up, United Circles is more than a research project. It's a movement towards more connected, resource-efficient Europe. We're linking cities with industries, innovation with action, and waste streams with new opportunities. And through our Turkish and Hungarian hubs, we are showing that collaboration, not competition, is a real driver of circular transformation. Together, we are proving that circular transformation isn't just possible, it's already happening. I hope with this presentation I've contributed to increase your willingness to start your own circular winner partnerships and projects. Thank you very much. I hope I take no more than time as needed.
It was actually okay. Thank you. Thanks a lot. I think such success stories are always the best to learn inspiration. But if you don't mind, I would like to ask you questions to learn a bit more from your experience. So the first questions would be addressed to you, Clara. Were there any unexpected opportunities, like in the partnerships, the new markets, research directions, example, that emerged during the project?
Yes, definitely. And actually, some of the value opportunities that we found were not as initially planned. We, as a digital innovation hub, work closely with companies, SMEs, public partners. So we know how innovation evolves when we start collaborating. Of course, from during United Circles, we are expecting strong technology outcomes that are important for our network. But we know that the network effect has become just as important or sometimes more important. So when we bring together industrial partners, cities, and research around these topics, we create new business ecosystems. So from one side, companies that are focused on one niche discover new markets, or digital tools can be used in other sectors. So what we are seeing is an expected level of cross-sector partnerships emerging, and that create real commercial opportunities, new clients, new services, even joint ventures. For us, it expanded our capacity to support companies from the technologies, but from these new technology, new data-driven tools, but also by giving us new training programs and tools to support our clients. So beyond these technical results that we are initially expecting, of course, the collaborations, but we are creating long-term relations, we are business growing, and we have now new market connections.
Good. I think it's a good end of this. I mean, the good answer and good to hear that, because I think the main message of this event is about collaboration and the long-term success of collaboration. So there is with us Aygen Erkad, Secretary General of IMSAD from Turkey's side. Hi, hello. You are in this consortium in this United Circle project as well. And I would like to ask you, how has participating in a Horizon Europe project contributed to or will contribute to your organization's growth, international cooperation or innovation capacity?
Thank you, Agi. Thank you for the invitation for the event. It's good to be here together with you all. In order to answer your question, maybe I should give some information about our association first, because there is a difference. We are a 41-year-old umbrella association representing all of the 36 subsectors of the construction materials industry. And because of this reason, we are working on the topics which are related to all of these subsectors. We have 85 company members, 60 association members from these subsectors, 5 universities, and a union as a member. So we have the network, and the work we are doing is related to all of these members. Like sustainability legislations, like foreign trade, of course, R&D and innovation. As in general, as an association, we organize events, we prepare reports, cooperate with other institutions, and take part in projects, of course. These projects and all of these activities are either funded by our own, from our own budget, or by our members, or some national and international funds. And basically, we have been working on twin transition for some time now, since the construction sector is one of the main sources for the carbon footprint, as everybody knows and complains about. So we have been trying to do something about on this subject. Actually, now it is not only twin transition. We started talking about triples transition, because it is not only green or digital. You have to think about the social transition as well. So our association's main target is to contribute to the development of the sector, and new legislations about circular economy, digital product passports, eco design. All these topics are new topics for the industry. So we wanted our members, we wanted to support our members and the sector to be ready to these topics as soon as possible, because of the legislations and EU Green Deal, carbon border adjustment mechanisms, etc., etc. We have to come up with good practices. I'm not saying best, actually, good or even practices from the sector. We wanted to have the government institutions to support the sector. We wanted to raise awareness for the end users as well, because these topics are not only technical topics; they are all related to the end users, the public as a whole. So we needed to come up with new cooperations, with new institutions to cooperate with. Although we had the network, this is a huge task. I mean, this is not only one country's or one industry's target. It can't be. So we didn't have enough funds. We didn't have the employees, the number of employees that this is needed. So the United Circles project solved all of these problems basically, because we were already working on this topic, and when the project invitation came, we just jumped to the idea, and this is how the project has been contributing to our targets. On the other hand, because we're an association, our contribution to the project is also very important, because normally in R&D and innovation projects, associations like us, sectorial associations, don't take part. So we are not an R&D center. So what we do is we are working on the hub creation. We are supporting the project with the hubs. We are especially communication and dissemination activities. I personally think that these topics, although they are, under the subject of innovation and R&D, is directly related to the people. So everybody needs to know about what you are doing, because basically you are doing the research and you are doing the innovative stuff, but nobody knows about this. So in order to help raise awareness on these topics, we are being a bridge between the researchers and all these technologies and these institutions with the end users, actually.
Okay, so you've already answered my next question, let's say half, because I want to ask you that from your point of view, what is the biggest motivation for an organization to take part in Horizon Europe program? Like the funding, the collaboration, and I mean, as far as I understand from your previous answer, it's mainly visibility, or is there anything else that you want to add?
Actually, all of those above, but plus some extras, because the main motivation is, for us especially, the main motivation is not visibility. All those motivations cannot be the main motivation. The important thing is there should be a need for an association or institution to be a partner in a Horizon project. That institution has to have an idea, a target, there should be some work which has already started and needs something to step it to the next level. So these projects are not the main motivation. I mean, everybody wants to be a part of a project. I mean, everybody wants to have funds, everybody wants to be visible, but they shouldn't forget about their main target as an institution. So all these projects should be a tool to reach the institution's target. The target
And the
shouldn't be a
development.
project.
Okay, thank you. And my last question, to be honest, is I would like to address to both of you. And I think, I mean, the word is now, I guess. So if you can answer, please, what advice would you give to newcomers who are considering applying for Horizon Europe projects, especially in terms of building strong partnerships and overcoming challenges?
I would say good luck first, because luck is unfortunately always the main issue in this type of things, because you have to be lucky to meet with the right people, go to the right events. So luck is very important. On the other hand, they should take advantage of every opportunity they come their way, as long as it is really, really related to in line with their capabilities and their targets. And the last one is everybody needs to know their weaknesses and their strengths, because they need to know about their capacities, because in Horizon projects, they don't come and invite you to a project and tell you what to do or ask you if you can do this or that. They want to learn how you are going to support this project. So you have to know how you can support any type of project, because otherwise it is really not really very successful. And instead of being a positive thing to be a part of many projects, you become a weakness to the consortium. Does this make sense?
Yeah, but for me, absolutely, yes, because I've already heard it a few times from different organizations and companies, so absolutely makes sense for me. And what are your thoughts, Clara? What do you think about
Okay,
what would be
so
your advice?
yeah, so I will use some of Eigen comments, but starting with her comment, and of course we need for sure to know our weaks and strengths and our abilities and expertise and what we can bring, and this is very, very important. So I will answer from the other point of view, and also how to what skills we need to apply. So in the proposal stage. So first of all, and again, as Egin said, please take Horizon Europe and European funding, not as a grant application, not only funding, but a strategic business investment. So this is very important. So aligned with Egin said, we need to know what we want, our goals, our strategy, and then it makes sense to collaborate or not in a project. So, but from the other side, we need to know that Horizon Europe and this framework is probably the bigger and most competitive funding scheme in the world. So this is good because we are asking and pushing to be raising the bar, and this always high quality every time is the competition is higher. So we need to be the better and better and better. But from the other side, we need to clearly know what to do with whom, and how really to build these outstanding proposals and later impactful projects. We have been listening to a lot of comments and suggestions during all the presentations, which are incredible. But then we need really to know, and Innomind does it. We give advice, we support in funding schemes, we made capacity building and mentoring and training capacity for companies that want to propose these. So this is very important to have the good supporting teams, good knowing about what is really to need to create a proposal. But then again, we need strong partnerships, credible implementation plans, and create real impact pathways. And again, I think that most of proposals miss this clear impact. So it's easy to go to the calls text and write it right away, but sometimes it's not like that. And my last advice is start with people. And this is a good example. This event is a very good example how to do it and how to start it. Again, as Egin said, we need some luck for sure. But the people is starting with trusting-based teams. So we need to network with people, we need to build relations. And once we are in some networks, it's easier to, or networks or work with. So it's easier to create new projects, new alliances, and so on. So I also that we need to look at it. This is a gateway to international collaboration, visibility, and growth. But then we need to start up with good partners and good relationships.
Yes.
And focus on strategy.
Partners means hard workers and high performance partners, right? Because it's important as well. So thank you very much for your very valuable insights, both of you. And to be honest, we wish you every success in this remaining 3 years. As far as I mean, just check it. It's almost a 5 years long project, right? So it's you have still remaining 3 years. And of course, all the best for your ongoing collaboration. Thank you so much. And now I think we finished our presentations, and we would like to open the floor for your questions, dear participants. So if there's anything you would like to know more about or something that wasn't fully covered, please feel free to ask our presenters and experts. And in the meantime, I checked the Q&A section, and there was one question at the very beginning of the presentation, which was addressed to Miss Bernadette Petri. I'm not sure whether she's not here with us, but I asked my colleague János whether he can answer it, or maybe you can.
Which research and innovation actions, goals, or funding streams are you particularly active in, especially within the digital industry and manufacturing cluster?
It was the question that I'm asking.
Yes, so Horizon Europe. So the structure regarding Horizon Europe is a kind of mixed structure, because we are not the NCPs of Horizon Europe, but the NCPs are working within NKFIH, which is the partner of TÜBİTAK so the Hungarian TÜBİTAK. But what I can say is that we have some focus points regarding Horizon Europe, and these are for, as you mentioned, Cluster 4, so digital, industry, and space. some space-related projects, some defense-related projects, some dual-use projects. And another important thing regarding digitalization is the agri-food sector. So it's cluster 6, which is also a very important focal point of MFOE's activities. And of course, civil protection, green and energy, border management. So I think these are the, let's say, the so-called the most important focus points. Unfortunately, I cannot go into, let's say, details by heart regarding calls, but based on these focal points, you can imagine our activity. And if you have, or if you realize that we could have common interests and common projects, then please call us, please turn to us, and we will find the cooperation opportunity.
Okay, thank you, János. Is there any other questions? Because at the moment I cannot see. Can you see any other questions?
No, I don't find anything in the Q&A.
Okay.
Frankly speaking, in the chat section, there are lots of messages, almost, but they are most of them are matchmaking messages, frankly speaking. And during the presentations, we couldn't have time to, let's say, check all of them. So if there is a question hidden in the matchmaking section, when we, let's say, will process the chat content, of course, we will answer these questions in writing and put it in the follow-up letter. I think this is
another one. There's another one.
Most proper solution we can offer for this at the moment.
Yeah.
Janos, there's another question in the Q&A section.
Maybe I can?
Just arrived, yes.
Sorry?
Yeah, it just arrived another question.
Just arrived another question. Okay.
Yes, in the
Q&A. Do we need to take it? Yeah, the question is about, is it necessary to send every Horizon project to the national coordinator first? No, actually, you can directly submit your proposal through the Funding and Tenders portal. So you do not have to make any, let's say, additional national application for the majority of the calls. But in several calls, for instance, CHIPS joint undertaking, you may request to make, let's say, double application, first to the European Commission, then to your national authority, in case your national authority is providing you a national fund for that particular area. But it is very rare, only in CHIPS joint undertaking, as far as I remember. And also apart from conventional Horizon Europe calls, in, let's say, co-funded partnerships. Of course, apart from the international submission, you should also make a national submission as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Sam. I just wanted to add that I didn't mention NKFE has NCPs as a must. It's an opportunity. So, of course, you don't need to, but it very often happens that the applicant has questions. So if you have questions and if you think that the NCPs can help, of course, it's an opportunity to turn to the NCPs as well. Thank you.
Okay, and in the chat, we saw several questions about how can we or how will we share the contact details and the introduction of the participants. We will figure out the mode of it. How can we collect them and share them with you in the follow-up letter, such as the presentations and the recording as well. So it seems there are no more questions, right? Or can you see? No raising hand. So there is nothing left but to thank you all for joining us today. We hope this session was useful and inspiring, and that gives you new momentum or even new horizon for exploring EU funding and international partnership opportunities. All materials will be shared with you. And finally, oh, sorry, there is, sorry, just interrupt myself. There is Bernadette who joined again us. So please, Bernadette.
Yeah, thank you. So there was just one question to me that I wanted to answer personally, and this is why I raised my hand. So it was about what kind of innovation funds we are covering and whether we cover cluster 4. Yes, we do. Indeed, in cluster 4, I think it is important to know that there is space
And in the future, this space area seems to be very, very important. And we in Hungary just started to establish a proper capacity for space projects. So I think that whilst we are covering all the EU programs that's in our mandate, and so do it with Cluster 4, we have a dedicated interest to space program. So please, in any case, there is interest in space or a consortia building up, contact us, because we are happy to contribute to the membership and to offer dedicated candidates to the partnership. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm coming back. So just to continue what I started, so all materials will be shared with you, and I think it's very important that you can revisit the content or share it with the colleagues who couldn't attend live. So just please do it. Absolutely, we are happy to do that. And if you have any questions or if we can assist you in any way, don't hesitate to contact us. You can see now in the screen our contact details, all of us. We are here to support you. And finally, don't forget to follow us on social media surfaces for updates, upcoming calls, and future events, because we are planning to have future events together. And we wish you every best of luck with your EU proposals and joint projects. Take care and thank you, and have a lovely day.
Thank you very much. Goodbye, everyone.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.